man. I'm bummed we couldn't meet in person because we were supposed to be in Salt Lake yesterday.
I know. This damn weather.
Yeah, well, and it's like not only that, it was like I was telling the guys in the band because we ended up having dinner yesterday instead of having a rehearsal because we were just all like kind of burned. It was like one of those things where you have like it's like if you get in conflict with your person you're dating or like with like a parent or something, you have like an emotional hangover. It was like that. So we are all just like, let's get together and let's chill. And I was telling the guys, I was like, I'm not too spiritual and I don't shit on it, but I'm not like too big on like, fate and cards and everything. But this is one of the few times where I was like, dude, the universe was telling us don't go. Because it was like the
Yeah.
transmission on the van blew, the storm rolled in within 24 hours of that, and 24 hours before the transmission on the van blew, two of the four shows were suddenly up in the air.
Uh,
And so we're just like, maybe this is not the time, man. Like,
yep. No, you guys weren't the only ones. Yeah, it's been rough. Anybody coming over, especially coming over from Denver, this weather's been so much worse the last couple of days.
yeah,
'Tis the season, man. Spring break hits, and suddenly you think you can get out, and then I-80 turns off.
Yeah.
Every
yeah.
time, man. How many years have we seen this?
Oh, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah, I realized that it was 2 years ago that Suicide Cages was supposed to open for Unsane. And I think it was like March 13th, like 2023. And same thing, they got caught. They went into Wyoming. They left Salt Lake, went into Wyoming, and got stuck in Wyoming.
Yep. That happens all too often.
If it's
Right?
not the snow, it's the ice and the wind and the we gotta love the Wyoming, man. They make it hard.
Exactly, exactly.
They do.
It's all their fault.
Well, I'll let Derek take the lead on this one, but just thank you very much for joining us on Six Disc Changer. Um, our elevator pitch about this podcast is that it's about coloring outside the lines. So everyone we try to talk to is someone who is either in or adjacent to creative fields, but also, business owners. And, we love hearing about not only people's stories, but what people have learned along the way, things they've tried that did and didn't work, just all the lessons learned, and just kind of, like, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the journey,
Yes.
definitely.
So
And yeah,
yeah.
like I said, I've been really looking forward to meeting you. Big fan of Black Harbor, have been for a while. So it was just kind of like when Derek was like, "Oh, I know that guy." I was like, "Word, okay, that's rad."
You've
Love
So
already
it.
ordered some strings too, right, Mike? You already playing them?
yeah, I stocked up all my guitar cases with him because we were gonna go on the road.
Nice. Good. I'm glad we got someone we're working with. I know actually Mood Swing Misery just posted that they're working with you as well, Corey.
Nice.
Yes.
So you'll see that post after we get off this call. So it's fun to see all the bands working with you, man. It's cool to know that it's all a copacetic relationship. So anyway, my name's Derek. That was Mike. This is Cory Jensen from Black Harbor Sound. Corey, you and I go back a couple of years, man. We knew each other what 26 years ago,
Yeah.
27 years
I was gonna say
ago.
about 25. Yes, maybe a
Yeah,
little
it's
over.
it's been a while. We're celebrating our 25th year anniversary as friends by reconnecting and doing this. How's that?
I love it. I love it.
Right on, man. So Corey and I, we did mortgages together for a while. We ran a record label together for a while. We've done a few things in the past, but somehow life got in the way. Not that it was a problem, it was just where we were focused for a while. I went off and had a couple kids, started railroading for a while. Corey went off and did 15 other projects as he does. Pretty sure he has five or six in the works right now, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And somewhere in there, Corey, you started Black Harbor Sound, man. I'm curious to know how this began because I heard word you were doing it, but I hadn't talked to you about how it became and came together.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I get asked all the time. How do you start a string company? Like what leads to that? So after we retired the label, I had worked with some good friends of mine for years who owned a guitar string company. Um, Small scale, inexpensive, strings, $5, $6 a pack. Just, a good quality string to get musicians by. I ended up taking over that company, acquired it, ran it for almost a decade. And through that process, learning more about, wire, alloy formulations, blah, blah, blah. I realized that the product I had acquired was not the product I wanted to be presenting to the marketplace. I realized taking this brand from a good, easy, accessible string to a very high-end boutique line would be a really poor branding pivot for me. And so I decided just to start a whole new company. And spent about a year and a half working with an alloy formulator and coming up with the combination of alloys we use in our strings now, and launched Black Harbor. It's been 9 years this year.
Nice.
Good thing, man. Good for you.
Yeah. So you acquire a company and start one later is the easy answer.
So you closed the acquired company, but took all the whatever IP was working
I
and
actually, yeah, no, I actually sold the company to a guy in
oh,
Australia.
really?
Uh,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, not that it was a competitor of mine anyway. We're in totally different brackets, as to who our market is. But I was definitely excited that the purchaser was overseas, just so that I don't, have to deal with it out of sight, out of mind. I get to focus on the company that I want to do and a product I want to be present, and I'm happy to, get behind.
Very nice, man. Well, I know I like the way you package your guitar picks too. I think that's the first thing I saw in the stores when I was at a Gray Whale in
Yep.
Salt Lake a while ago. You do the picks, but you do a 13 pack. What's the name you call those?
We call Lucky 13 picks.
13. Okay. And they come in this cool little tin, not unlike the condoms that you're handing out as suicide cages right now, Mike.
Oh, the
But
white
the
condoms, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, the the little metal tins are so rad because they're super helpful to like store things later or to carry things
Yeah.
when it's in containers. It's a rad little packaging gimmick you got there too. So your alloy guy worked well with your aluminum tins, man.
Thank you. No, people dig it. I've seen that tin used for all sorts of cool stuff. I've seen guys double side tape it to their pedal board and have picks right there on the floor. I even had a guy come flag me down at a show and ask me to go into the bathroom to buy weed from the guy selling in there. And he said to trust him. So just out of mere curiosity, I go in and inquire, and he opens up his Black Harbor tin that he was selling little pre-rolls out of.
Yeah,
Well, it
totally.
is a nice little cigarette slash J holder as well. So I
I
mean,
was
whatever you got to do,
flattered.
man.
No,
It's a
those tins
container
make
when you
all
don't
the
have any picks
difference.
left.
Yeah, I ordered 2 packs of the picks too, and like I really like the quality of the picks, and I but those tins make all the difference, and it was cool of I don't know how this decision came about, but it's definitely proof that you're a player or whoever you're talking to are players because one, as those tins have become more commonplace because they are so practical, it's a good size. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the famous thing you see is like people using the Altoids boxes,
Hmm.
and which is fine, they work, but they're kind
It's
of
just
big.
just big. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of big. So that's what I love about the Black Harbor ones is that like not only so I did something similar where I put some Velcro on it so I can sit it on the top of my amp. It's right there. I drop a pick, I turn around, grab it, don't miss a beat.
Yep.
But what I like about the Black Harbor tins is that they're literally pocket size. Like I can put them in my pocket with my chapstick, like,
Yep.
and I've literally always got picks with me, which is sounds like a weird thing. Like, why would you always carry picks? But anyone who's ever played guitar or any stringed instrument, you're like, sometimes you need a pick randomly, you know?
Never know when somebody's going to pull out a guitar and they need you,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, you got to have that pick ready to go.
Yep. Yep. And I think as both you guys know, a lot of our artists love the fact that we do the collab picks. So
Right.
any Black Harbor endorsed artist can do a collab pick with us. So it's them on one side, Black Harbor on the other. They can, give one out to everybody who purchases at a show, or, hand them out to friends, throw them off stage, whatever. Just an awesome, co-branding opportunity. And I don't mark those up much at all, actually. Just something I want to pass along to the artists. It's great
Yeah.
representation for both of us. So,
I have a
It
feeling
absolutely
there's a
is.
few artists that are going to
It's
do
so-
that.
yeah, it absolutely is. It's something I was going to look into for suicide cages because I know before we were introduced to you, I had ordered like a small amount of custom picks from some company in LA, and we started putting them out on the merch table just free.
mhm.
Why not? And I was shocked how many people were like excited about
Oh, yes.
type of little branded item.
Yep. Yep. Agreed.
Okay, so the strings have been going for 9 years. You to get away from the picks for a second because those are awesome. But moving on to the strings again, along with working with the alloy guy, from what I understand, you also have a number of gauges that are a little hard to find, or you allow the custom setup of your strings, so that should we have to buy 5 packs of the prepackaged packs to make our set, we don't have to do that anymore with you guys. We can buy the strings we use and don't have to break up 4 of the Ernie balls or whatever to make a full set of strings. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, we offer on electrics, we offer anything from a 9 to an 80 currently. On bass, everything from a 30 to a 135. Those will expand, as the market recovers, and we'll continue to offer more. But even just a couple of days ago, I released a 20 wound for electrics. For those of us who love a wound third, or if you're playing really heavy, maybe it's a wound second, but it's something I've wanted for a long time. I hate that thick steel third. I launched these kind of for personal reasons, but I realize there's a lot of people out there that might like it too. So yeah, we do offer a lot that is tough to find in the marketplace. So and a lot, I think all artists love the fact that they can come and, build a custom set. They might think they want something specific, try it. This guitar, for this specific string would just feel better with a gauge a hair off, and they can kind of hone that in and create their perfect set.
So it's a big piece, man. When you're working on your sound, you're working on your tone, you're working on what feels comfortable, and you get used to something, to be able to replicate that and stick with it. That's awesome that you offer the custom thing, man, because building a custom set is kind of where it starts when you're tuning differently, playing different kind of music, getting heavy, whatever it is. It's necessary, man. And the wound strings are kind of a fun bunch too.
Well, it is, and a lot of artists don't have the luxury of creating exactly what they want. So, getting to be a part of that, developing their tone process is also, a pretty awesome opportunity. So.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the next question. The pedals, when did those start?
I dipped my toe in the water probably 5, 6 years ago. I had a guy who was doing some really cool mods. So I put a few pedals out, and then, the more I sat on it, I realized being a string company that has something I feel, so incredible, and then you've got these pedals that don't have that same unique incredible. They were great, mods, but anybody can do a mod. So I scrapped the pedal line, decided to actually bring an engineer on and, create some new and very unique circuits. So the first pedal we dropped was a collab with Ned Clayton from Hex Amps. Ned engineered me an original circuit called the Solar Eclipse, 2-channel distortion, some really unique clipping. It's been an awesome signature kind of front runner pedal for us. And then from there, it's just kind of grown. We even got getting into signature pedals now. Everything we do, like I said, is it's not something that you can just go snag off, the floor of a local shop. So,
Dude, I love it. I think the newest signature pedal you have is the Gentry Densley one. Is that right?
yep, yep,
Gentry from Iceburn and Eagle Twin and the 55 other projects that that gentleman has been a part of over the years. One of our
yes,
heroes, obviously. Congratulations on setting that up, by the way.
yeah.
What's the name of that pedal?
17-year-old Cory was super super stoked to get to work with a childhood legend and has now become a great friend. And to be able to create a pedal with a tone he's been chasing for his whole career and to be able to have accomplished that is awesome.
What's the name of that pedal?
Zladrog.
Zladrog. I knew I had
Yep.
to have you start that pronunciation, but
Yep. It's
I've heard amazing things from it already, man.
Yeah, no, it's been a hit. There's a lot of big dudes out in the industry rocking it now too. It is a monster of a pedal. Not a bad tone in it.
Mike, from what I understand, there might be one of those at Andy Patterson's studio to be able to use anytime you need to as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that is
can't wait to
correct.
play with that thing. Yeah,
Andy and I were just talking about that the other night. So
yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful. Mike, any questions so far?
No, it's just it's awesome to hear the story. It's one of those things that not, so from my side as a participant, in the marketplace with your products, it's cool to hear the stories about how it comes across, how these things come into being. And it's a different perspective from how I think about these products and how I use them, every day. And that's really cool. So I just like hearing it. I think one thing that's interesting for me is that, again, and this is part of what I love about these conversations. So for me, not being a business owner, when I think about, entering the marketplace with an idea, I often think in a very singular lane, like, how you were saying, like, all right, well, how do I start this string company? How do I make it be the thing I want? Having been a player, knowing what are some of the limitations of, people's purchasing power and what people want as they're coming up. But like how it also occurred to you, like, all right, well, I'm doing this one thing. I could get into this whole other lane that would benefit the people who already participate with my product. That's the thing that's so cool to me is like thinking like that and being like, all right, I've got the cool strings, I've got the cool picks. Oh, pedals, rad. Because I think of pedals as like a whole other company. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep. And it runs and operates somewhat like its own entity. It's definitely different. I have different individuals in the company that get to work and be a part of that process. That's totally different than, the string side.
Right, right,
Fascinating, man. I love the fact that you've been doing this for so many years now. I love the fact that you're still innovating as you go. I think that's part of staying alive, right? Like you always got a new idea that you want to play with as well. But congrats to you on getting this far with Black Harbor. And we're super stoked to be working with you and moving forward on this. We just felt like it was really cool to be able to talk to you about this. You've expressed it a little bit. You've talked about how the strings weren't what you wanted when you bought the company. You fixed that by starting a new company. You wanted some new sounds, you got some new ideas, you got a chance to work with some players. Now you're working with a big pile of bands. How many bands are you currently endorsing?
A little over 2,000.
That's enough to keep you busy, huh? So you're going to lunch with somebody every day. You're having conversations 5 or 6 times a day. You're approving band applications on your website, but you do a cool thing where you also showcase the band on your website. So you've got a little Facebook collection of bands that play Black Harbor on your site, which I think is a really cool community builder for you as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
that
I
was
like
the goal when we kicked that off. It's been kind of a project in development over the last couple of years, and it's needed a lot of tweaks as we've gone. But that really was it. Was I was trying to figure out what other ways can I provide value to the artists representing Black Harbor, and being able to have everyone have a place on the website, not just a few notables, but have their own profile where fans or other artists can go on and see other bands, see the genres, see locations of people in the search. You can search by area and things like that. So, giving bands an opportunity to be able to go onto the site and, maybe they want to look and see if there's another doom band in Boston that they can, get with and maybe connect on a show or something. And so kind of create this opportunity for them to, connect and get themselves out there with other artists. And then being able to give people the opportunity to come and gain that artist information, right? Their Instagram or Bandcamp or whatever else links they want to put on there, can, be housed on their artist page. So.
totally.
amazing.
One of the things I really like about that, and one thing I love about that is that the sort of mutually beneficial relationship that you built into the agreement about, like, the expectations of, posting and sharing posts and things like that. which I think is really awesome because it just spells out exactly what you want, which to me, when I read it, was totally reasonable, like, and there's value for both parties. But I'm wondering, like, how you came up with those guidelines. Is that just a matter of trial and error, or?
Yeah, yeah, years of just, figuring out how much is too much, where is a good mutual give point so that it's beneficial, right? If I'm going to bring an artist on and they're going to get a discount and I'm going to lose revenue to bring them on, right? What's the benefit here for both of us? And knowing that you're going to go out and share and talk about the strings and things like that. Now that is, a huge gain for me. I'm not a Nazi about the posting, but I did need to put an expectation in there a little higher than what I am actually okay with because people are always going to get busy and not have time or forget or things like that. And so, for me, it's like, hey, post me in anything relevant. It makes both of us look good and, gives us an opportunity to share with each other's, followers.
Right. Absolutely.
I've made sure that I'm not only posting myself in everything I post and all the bands I'm working with every time I post, but I'm trying really hard to include you in every post I post now too, Cory. So hopefully I'm doing it the opposite way and getting you involved in lots of things you may not have known were happening.
I appreciate it. No, I love it. I love it.
I
Yeah,
know you're always seeing a new one from me every day, so I'm trying to keep you included, man.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
appreciate it.
well, dude,
That's what
thank
we
you for
do.
talking to us about all the sterile stuff, all the official stuff. But um, I think I have a little twist for you, a couple things I want to ask. The one
Shoot.
that Mike always likes to ask is, what are you currently into now? And it doesn't just have to be music. It's whatever is inspiring you at the moment to keep doing what you're doing and move forward.
Okay, that's kind of a loaded question. What
Yep.
inspires me now? I think, honestly, it's kind of funny. We're having this conversation now that I think about it. I'm coming up on my 10 year next year, right? And the last couple of months, it's kind of hit me that this is year 9, right? And so you've got this decade of reflection, if you will. And I think the big takeaway for me has been just the opportunity to get to work with all of these awesome artists. And as you guys may know, a lot of people that have engaged with me know, and I've had this pointed out a lot of times over the years of how rare this is. But outside of owning the company, I insist on always making sure that AR is handled by me as well. That way, everyone coming in gets the Black Harbor experience that I wanted to give them in creating this, right? And going through everything, COVID, the trenches, you name it, right? I'm here. I want to develop these relationships, these friendships, provide this value. And you get to associate and become lifelong friends with some of the coolest musicians out there. Some of these musicians I've looked up to since childhood and now get to have the opportunity of hanging out in their bus after the show, or they hit me up ahead of time. Hey, we're going to be in Salt Lake. Can we connect and hang out? And that means the world to me. So I think my motivation is just those relationships and friendships. Huge for me.
Well, that part's the part that becomes human, right? Like the inspiring part of the reason we still get up in the morning. I love to hear that. That's good. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, and in return, the other question that I was going to ask was this, and Mike, I'll let you throw in some stuff here in a minute, but over the course of all the things you've done, entrepreneurial or otherwise, up until this point in your world, we want to hear a lesson learned that is one that walks with you every day since the time you learned it, however hard it was at the time. I know
Uh,
this is like an interview, but it's like job interview time now. Tell me what changed you and focused you on the new path.
I think for me over the years, it's just learning that I have been the most successful when I've been passionate doing what I'm doing. And, I've had a lot of people ask, even, during COVID when things were rough and string sales were slow and shops were closed and people couldn't tour or record, if we were going to keep going or whatever. And it's like, that's my motivation is to keep the ball going, to keep working through it no matter what. And it's been, tough. But here we are.
Rewarding, I think, is the other word you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, you look at other things, and for me, it's like even though, I've picked up some clients over the last few years and done some small business consulting on the side, as income has, and profits have been hit, from all of the economy stuff going on. For me, it's having that passion has been the fuel to keep me going.
Yeah,
Because that benefit and what I gain from it is huge. If I didn't have this, it would just be some boring gig consulting on this, helping this company with that. And those aren't my things. It's not my passion. So for me, I would tell anybody, find something you love and do it all the time. The pay will come or the lifestyle that you get from it will be worth it regardless.
right.
I
100%.
love that.
And you had spoken earlier to earlier to this, and what you just said absolutely perfectly punctuated it, and that's kind of why I want to repeat it. Like a big part of that is building the community. So to your point about doing what you love and being a part of what you love, but also on top of that, figuring out like how can I give back? How am I an active participant that provides value to everyone who interacts with me, and trying to inspire them to do the same. So I think that's a really, really valid point, especially as you said, with all these endeavors, creative business, yeah, income, revenue, it all fluctuates for a
Mhm.
thousand reasons. So you have to
Especially being
have
an
that.
entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, you have to have that through line, and part of that through line is the community that you find yourself in. So yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, no, and I think that was kind of a big motivation for me building out, the artist platform where they can present themselves and show off their material and, providing them things like, custom artist picks. I mean, none of these things are revenue generators for me by any means, but they're things I've come up with over the years of how do I provide even more value for, this artist. What's gonna make them even more grateful than just a discount on the strings? And it's because we have this, we have this, we have this. So
Sure. All of this is it's inspiring to me, man. It's fun to see you still doing stuff. Your energy is the same exact energy it was when I met you the first time 25 years ago. Uh, Mike, I think I was doing a radio show on a Sunday night.
huh?
It was a local show on the hard music station in Salt Lake City. The channel was called Channel 1057, and we called it Channel Homegrown. And we did a little local show on Sunday nights. They let us have badges, and we let way too many fun people in, and we had way too much of a party right about the same time that Howard Stern was getting busted for saying way too many wrong things on the radio. We were having a
F
party.
bombs.
We
Yeah,
were
no
having
doubt,
way
no
too much
doubt.
of a party on the radio, but
Yeah,
one of those nights Corey came, and I met him in passing that night, and it turned out to be a pretty interesting a path that we both pursued elsewhere and
yeah.
reconvened. So this is pretty cool, man. It's awesome to have you on the show.
Well, and I love that you're back at it, man. It's a great time, and labels are picking up traction again. And
Yeah.
it's been a long time since that's been an opportunity for small labels. Really has.
Well, the music matters too. I'm lucky enough to be in the same boat you are, in the fact that I work with a lot of amazing musicians and great people, and it just made sense, man. In the
No,
same
they've all
in the
been.
same kind of story, talking to Mike one day, we just decided it was time to work together, and I don't think that he and his band even knew I had a label in the past. So one of those things, you get to pull that out of your back pocket and try again. Here we go.
Yep, I love it. Well, dude, the bands you're working with so far, everyone that's has come over to Black Harbor has been absolutely awesome to work with. If you've noticed, every one of them has been all about posting and sharing and getting us out there too. And I think that's really cool.
I'm pretty sure a couple of them have even purchased pedals from you already. I saw one of them,
Yes.
Talking Point. Billy from Talking Point is playing your compression pedal right now. So he
Yeah,
played
he
last
played
two
that the
times
other
this week.
night. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It sounded
Pretty great,
great
man.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
love
I'm
it.
actually ordering that solar eclipse like tomorrow.
Do
Yeah,
it, man.
Mike was
Do
just
it.
telling me about it last week. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's an incredible pedal, and the thing is, and it's not that I build my pedals for this reason, but I would like to share. The Solar Eclipse and the Zlatarog stack really well,
right.
which, as you know, a lot of drive pedals, dirt pedals don't play well with other pedals.
Right.
And when you can stack something in front or behind the Solar Eclipse, and still get that clipping to come through that makes that so unique. It's awesome. And so I like to share with people, hey, this also stacks really well. If you've got something you love or a setup you love, bring this into the mix and spice it up.
Yeah, 100%. That's actually one of the things that turned me on about it because I was watching all the product demos and reading reviews online of the different pedals. And the way I play personally is I always buy first an amp where I love the gain channel. And so I
100%.
build everything off that. And exactly to your point, it is really, really hard to find pedals that stack well with an amp's channel because either the pedal is meant to replace the channel and be its own thing entirely, or the pedal is like too thin, and just sort of squashes everything and cuts off frequencies on the top and bottom. And all the demos and all the reviews I read about the Solar Eclipse say that it is able to overcome those two challenges. And so
Yes, very much so.
I'm really, really interested in adding that to my sound. Like it's going to be fun.
And that one is also great on bass.
Yeah,
So a lot of what we do, as you guys know, and anybody that comes to Black Harbor, obviously we definitely cater to the heavier genre. I mean, I've got musicians from all walks of life, but kind of catering to that heavier side. We're testing everything with really heavy drop tunings and things to make sure it'll hold up. And when you're getting into some of these heavy drop tunings, it rolls over and plays well on bass just as easily. So that solar eclipse, I use it as a drive on bass, and it's so I don't gain too much with it on bass, but it adds an awesome growl.
nice.
Dude, thank you for all the stuff you're doing, Cory. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yeah, we talked briefly about maybe discussing making a new pedal soon, and I can't wait to have that discussion in the next 6 months when we do. If 6 months is a good timeline for us, let's start talking.
We
Um,
definitely can. We've got a few pedals coming out this year, so some really cool stuff planned. Another signature pedal. I've got another collab pedal, and then one more. Actually, no, two of them are collabs. One of them's a signature. So
nice. I think we maybe need to talk to you about doing a collaboration T-shirt with the podcast.
that'd be
Uh,
fun.
be a 6 disc changer Black Harbor thing. So we need to talk about that too. I'm thinking of ideas as we're talking because that's how we work, right? That's how it
Yeah,
is.
man.
Got to
That's where
add
the
five or
best
six
ideas
more
come
things to
from.
the pile. Mike, we might need some artwork here pretty soon, buddy.
Dude, I'm down. Absolutely.
All right, cool. Uh, Cory, we covered a lot already. Let me ask you about everything else. How many other ventures are you currently involved in without giving us the whole sales pitch of all of them? What, three, four, five? Where are you at right now?
No, right now, most of my time is focused on obviously, a good chunk of that goes into Black Harbor. But about 4 or 5 months ago, a good buddy of mine in the industry reached out to me and had an idea of starting a new company, basically creating a platform where artists can come. Where they're normally having to go to all these different platforms and manage merch here and record sales here and whatever, and then they got to take all that stuff and feed it out to all their social channels individually. We wanted to create a place where they could come and do all of the transactions, live stream, sell their merch, sell tickets to a self-promoted concert, or have their management sell tickets. Provide a cool community aspect, but even better is really rev sharing back with those artists. That's another big concern is that a lot of the marketplace, they want to give back fractions of a penny to an artist and artists just aren't making money. And so the company we're starting is called Vibe, VYB. And we're rev sharing back 80 to 90% of the profits with the artist. So big game changer, and kicking this off with some really incredible other execs from some awesome, industry companies as well. So there's some great expertise, some really powerful minds behind it. And it's awesome because I can be on a phone call talking with the potential Black Harbor artist and also talk about this platform they can jump on and help them grow and promote their new business. So
It sounds to me like an extension of that community. You're expanding it even further and trying to make sure everybody gives back a little bit and keeps a little something for themselves as well. I'm excited to see how that goes, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing the process of this growth for the new plan.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I've reached out to a couple of dozen bands so far, just ones that I know have a lot of engagement, would get in, test it out, give us some feedback while we're in beta. And everybody I've talked to has been super excited about it. Huge need in the marketplace for something like this. Um, but, really, I think providing these artists the how-tos and direction and instruction. Yes, there's a lot of sites out there, but are they walking you through what are the next steps to actually grow your band's business? And
Exactly.
most artists don't handle their band like a business, and they should.
So
Uh,
Hmm.
check it out, Mike. One thing he didn't say, I'm sorry to interrupt, Corey,
you're good.
uh, is that he's also working on a way to live stream shows for those
Nice.
of us that can't get to the show because of weather or whatever else. Maybe there's a way for us to pick up a cheaper ticket to watch that show streamed wherever we
Definitely.
are. You know,
Which is
that's
which
a
is
great
an
revenue
awesome
builder
idea.
for
Yeah.
any band that's doing shows that has a fan base somewhere else. That could be a really cool platform as well.
Yeah.
Well, most of us can't tour as much as we'd like to reach our entire audience, especially if somebody has kids or, a business that they have to run that's, requires them being there. This way you can still do that show in Brooklyn, but stream it to everyone else around the globe that wants to, participate and watch.
Right.
And, we all got familiar with streaming during COVID, but you'd
Mhm.
be surprised how many bands haven't ever jumped on it and really want to. I've talked to a lot of bands that have tried Twitch, which is not a platform built for musicians. It's just not. And that's the feedback I've gotten. And, people have gone and tried to use Patreon, which has some components that work. But once again, it's kind of more of a OnlyFans environment. And so we wanted to build something specifically catering to musicians.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea because I know that that's a discussion that I've seen a lot of musicians have, and usually the extent of the knowledge is going live on Instagram. And beyond that, no one has either
It's true.
further ideas or understanding of how to actually implement a stream and reach more people. And I think you're right. I think that's definitely there's a huge amount of opportunity there, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, and
Yeah,
that market is growing like wildfire. It's actually projected to be 7 times larger than the worldwide concert market over the next 7 years. So the
yeah,
people that say, "Oh, I'm not really into it," or "It's not for my band," you're going to be missing out on an awesome opportunity to still reach and connect with fans internationally that you would not be able to do
right.
on your own. And it's not to say you're not going to still go to concerts and things. But this will allow you to watch concerts you can't make it to, where we're accustomed to maybe traveling to a local state if the show's good enough, but most of the stuff we're seeing is in our own backyard.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And I
we have
love that
bands
idea
from the
because
UK.
there's it's
Yeah.
a way different experience than watching a set after the fact, like say on YouTube.
Mhm.
Like, like you watch, like videos of like Furnace Fest or something on YouTube or so, and it's cool, you know, but that's a way different experience than watching a thing as it's happening. And if you
Mhm.
can't be there in person, getting to watch it as it's happening is the next best way to participate, with that band that you love.
Oh,
So, yeah,
100%.
Know you needed to see, or that, yeah, that guest show or that festival lineup that just sold out too fast. There are so many factors that could be a really positive thing for this that I'm excited to see how this goes. We got to keep talking about vibe as well.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's, the music industry as a whole, most venues, same thing, right? If a venue can bring on a streaming component, so not only are they selling tickets to the show, but any one of their followers anywhere else around the world, they can jump in and watch that show as well. And now there's another revenue stream for the bar or venue, an additional revenue stream to those bands that can be shared with them outside of the door, um, that's not being, covered right now. And I think,
Sounds like a big W for everybody, man.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
huge. Yeah, no, we're super excited. And I think another component I do want to mention real quick is a lot of artists are spending all this time out creating these followings that they don't have access to. So you're building Instagram's, community, if you will. Yes, they follow you, but you can't access them. You can't access them on YouTube. Um, So if you want to get something out, you've got to pay to promote this post. And all that does is just get it on more walls. They still have to scroll by and see you. So just because you have 37,000 followers doesn't mean you have an ability to reach those. As a matter of fact, the more followers you have, the less percentage of views you actually get.
Yeah.
So with what we're doing, we don't understand why these companies need to own that fan data or that fan data. So any artist that comes and registers or with an account on Vibe, they can send all their fans to Vibe from Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Bandcamp, whatever. And now they're able to engage with these people directly to their emails through our platform for free, and they can now communicate every single month, newsletter, updates, tour announcement, new record, huge. And you can export that data at any point in time, and it's yours.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah. And that's awesome because that is a weird lesson to learn. And again, we could do a whole episode just on this, but as you start delving into with social media, engagement. It is so weird how as your follow account grows, everything changes. Like your engagement and your participation may plateau or even decline. The what counts for your posts actually changes for the type of posts. I know as Suicide Cages has grown, we've seen a weird thing where like our reels will get seen by way more people, but they get less likes, somehow. And it's just like you're just sitting there, you're like, what? How is that? Why does
This
that?
math is somebody else's math. It's not
Yeah,
what we do.
exactly. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Whereas our posts don't get seen by as many people, but they get more likes. But then we look at both of them, and we're definitely never reaching all of our followers.
Yep.
So having the opportunity of something like Vibe that you're talking about to, as you said, you're not going to reach everybody, but to be able to extend your hand and extend that invitation even further, that's invaluable. Absolutely.
Huge. Yep. Yep. Agreed. So those are my focuses right now to answer your question, Derek.
Thanks, man. I
Luckily,
think we covered a couple things here. This is good.
I know, right?
yeah, yeah.
Told you, man, it wasn't going to be hard to get an hour out of this.
I was gonna say, yeah, you've got everything except a hot dog stand, dude.
We'll have to do hot dogs at the Crucial Fest. How's that?
Love it. Love it.
We'll do a collaboration hot dog cart in between our two tables.
That's not a terrible idea, dude.
I love that idea, actually. We
That's
can do
not a
some
bad
vegan
idea.
dogs. We can make it work, man.
Can we get like
I'll make
something
some
that
calls,
like
Corey.
can we get something that you cook them in that would like burn our logo into each side?
Oh, dude, I'll
Yes.
just brand every dog before we cook it. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure there's a way. We can talk to your alloy guy if we need to. We can make our own brands. It's cool. We got this. I love it, man. So I guess that brings me to ask you about that. Crucial Fest is something you've been a part of for quite a few years in Salt Lake City, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I know it doesn't have to be something we cover because it's not necessarily your festival, but you've been a major sponsor for that event for 7 or 8 years now, right?
Yes. I guess this will be the seventh year with Black Harbor, and then obviously we had some, with Sound versus Silence, we had some
Yeah, we
years
touched it a
there as
little bit,
well.
didn't we? Yeah, yeah.
We did. So yeah, this is my second run as a sponsor, but yeah, I get to be involved every year. And Jerem's been great to work with in regards to letting me make recommendations every year of Black Harbor artists. And it also takes a little bit of leg time off him to have someone have already vetted out a handful of awesome bands.
Well, that's awesome. You get to be a part of the cabinet in making those decisions, right?
Well, it's great to get a lot of those bands. I wouldn't have the luxury of meeting them unless I got them here in my own backyard. And so, getting them here, getting to spend a few days with them, it's an awesome experience.
Oh man, we're looking forward to being a part of it this year, however we can be a part of it. I know Brayburn's hoping we can, do a little sponsorship on that side too. So we want to come out and be a part of the fun with you this year for that too. Crucial Fest has always been something that Salt Lake was really proud of before all the bigger events that have been coming on the last couple of years. And we're all holding Kilby Court and all those other little places near and dear to our heart still too. Crucial Fest is one of those. So that's exciting. You're still doing that, man.
Oh, that was one
Yeah.
of the things we were talking about is going out there and doing a couple live episodes of Six Disc Changer from Crucial, like to
Oh,
just
so
Right.
cool.
yeah, have some extra coverage of it. Like,
Do some interviews. Yeah,
We
interview
could
some.
even do something from the stage on one of the down days early in the afternoon or something. We could open up one of the sets with that. So throw that out to Jerem as well. That's a new idea that just came to me. Mike and I would be glad to do one in front of the crowd. You know what I'm saying?
that's cool that you're able to be a part of that though, because fests definitely seem like something to the point you made earlier that, it's really about your passion because they definitely seem like a high risk venture.
Yes, very much so. Yep.
That's all you got to say. That's it right there. Yes, very much so.
Yeah, no further elaboration needed. Yeah,
Yep.
no.
Uh-huh. But they're so much fun when they work, man. We're so excited to see another one happen.
Yep.
The fest circuit is a whole new world and a whole new business, but it's awesome to see one that lasts multiple years, even if it changes the way that it comes across or the places that it happens or the scale or size depending on what is required that year. It's a
That's
lot of
part
fun.
of the growth process, you know?
It is, man. Sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's smaller, sometimes it's just a little more tight.
Yep.
Right on. Anything else you need to throw at me, Cory? Any other words of wisdom, sir?
Uh, no, man, I appreciate all the support. I really do. I love it. It means the world to me because, like I said earlier, this is what I'm passionate about. So, thank you. And thank you to anybody listening for giving me that opportunity.
Word. We appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for giving us some time today. You coming out and seeing Emperor with me or what?
You know it.
Okay. Are you coming out for the big Unhinged Fest too?
That's actually a conversation that's happening. So
Okay, good. We need to
Nice,
talk about
nice.
that. Yeah, yeah.
that would be an awesome one as well. So,
Yeah.
Plenty of reasons for us to keep hanging out, man.
yep, love it. Love it.
Mike, anything else?
No, man, just wanted to thank you, Cory, for being a part of this. It's been a great conversation. And like I said, Derek spoke the world of you, and I'm a big fan of Black Harbor, so I've been really looking forward to meeting you. So thanks for making the time for this today, dude.
Well, and I will vouch for Derek as well. He hasn't changed a damn bit in 25 years. So uh,
I got a
I
little
hope
more
that's
gray.
flattering
Just a
because,
little more gray.
yeah, except for, we've grayed out, but we're the same kids we were, 25, 30 years ago. No sense in changing or growing up. I have learned to be a little more responsible, but
Weird.
I'm still here to have a good time.
Yeah, right.
All right, man. Well, here's to at least 25 or 30 more, huh?
You better believe it.
All right, buddy. Cory, thanks for your time. Black Harbor sound, vibe, and all the other things that are mixing up in his head right now. Can't wait to see what else you got for us, man. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
dude.
it.